Prince William proved he remains king of the selfies yesterday as he posed for photograph students in New York City. The Prince of Wales, 41, appeared in high spirits as he visited New York City Harbor School and Billion Oyster Project to learn about the Green Initiative. It comes during a trip to the U.S. where the Prince of Wales will announce the finalists of the 2023 Earthshot Prize. Today's excursion saw the Prince witness the Billion Oyster Project working to restore the oyster reefs to New York Harbor by 2035. A selection of selfies, which were shared by Aaron Singh of the Billion Oyster Project on Instagram, showed the royal enjoying the educational trip. Although there is no official protocol on selfies, the royals have a rule against signing autographs, so that they can't be sold for large amounts of money. And in the early days of camera phones, they seemed to shy away from being snapped with members of the public, with Princes William and Harry and King Charles all voicing their dislike of the method. However, in recent years, they've become commonplace, with Charles posing for his first selfie all the way back in 2014, and other royals from Sophie Wessex to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle following suit. The late Queen Elizabeth II was not a fan of selfies and would politely decline if ever asked to take one, as she was thought to prefer eye contact. However, this was more of a personal preference than a rule of any kind. On recent visits, Prince William, as well as his wife Kate, have often delighted royal fans by posing for photographs with them. On this occasion, the Prince of Wales donned a green hunting jacket for his day out, ideal for the cooler temperatures as the summer heat has begun to fade from the city. While outside on the boat, the royal was also photographed wearing a pale blue baseball hat, a rare look for the prince. William sported a crisp blue shirt underneath his jacket, adding a more formal touch to the ensemble. In light of William's trip to the project, Aaron Singh shared a message alongside the images. He wrote, "The New York Harbor School and Billion Oyster Project often host special visitors to the island. Today, our students had the pleasure to show His Royal Highness Prince of Wales, Prince William, our career and technical education programs and the great work we do with Billion Oyster Project. Hashtag New York Harbor School, hashtag Billion Oyster Project, hashtag Governor's Island, hashtag Vesselops, hashtag Career and Technical Education, hashtag His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, hashtag NICDO, hashtag UFT. Today, Prince William met with UN Chief Antonio Guterres to discuss efforts required to accelerate the fight against climate change and protect the environment. The Prince of Wales and the UN Secretary-General appeared cheerful as they toured the 93-member world body where world leaders have gathered for their annual summit. After telling reporters it was so good to be back in the US as he got waist-deep in the Hudson at an oyster project, he took a trip to the UN ahead of a no-nonsense climate summit being hosted by Guterres on Wednesday. After their meeting, A UN spokesperson said the pair also discussed efforts to enhance implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as financing for development. Leaders are also meeting at the United Nations on Monday and Tuesday on the Sustainable Development Goals, a 2015 to-do list that includes wiping out hunger and extreme poverty, battling climate change and achieving gender equality. Guterres warned that the goals need a global rescue plan. Earlier, William heaped praise on the U.S., saying no one does optimism and ingenuity like the American people as he arrived at Newark Airport last night on the two-day trip. William, who flew commercial and was traveling without the Princess of Wales, went straight from the airport to Governor's Island, which sits in New York Harbor. There he learned about the Billion Oyster Project, which aims to make the waters around New York clean by putting 1 billion oyster shells in them by 2035 to act as natural filters. Today William will announce the 15 finalists for this year's Earthshot Prize, which awards companies and projects focusing on climate solutions. There appears to be no plans to see his estranged brother while in the U.S., just days after Prince Harry's Invictus Games came to a close in Düsseldorf, Germany. William helped found the awards in 2020 and each year 5 winners get £1 million towards their project. Arriving at the airport he said, "It's so good to be back in United States. No one does optimism and ingenuity like the American people, so it's only right we unveil this year's Earthshot finalists in New York City." "80 years ago, the world came together in this great city to find a new way, through the UN, to solve our shared challenges. I know our generation can take the bold action we need to make changes towards a healthy and sustainable world." The challenge may feel huge, but as John F. Kennedy taught us, we rise to the challenge not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And vital. On Governor's Island, William met with schoolchildren who are studying marine biology and talk with employees of the Billion Oyster Project. He also saw a giant pile of oyster shells that were donated by 75 restaurants in New York rather than being sent to landfill sites. Meanwhile, afterward, despite the gray skies and rain, he waded into the East River from a small beach and put some oysters into the water.